Omega is free. Omega slowly lowered his right arm. The tall metal figure stood in silence. The three humans waited. "You have done well, Varon," Omega said in a strong, clear voice.
"Good," said Garth. "Now you can take us back to Zeron."
"That is not possible," said Omega. "First, I must recharge the power banks fully. That will take 5 hours."
"That's too long," said Miranda greedily. "We must go back to Zeron now."
"It will take 5 hours to recharge the power banks," repeated Omega. "Then we can return to Zeron if you want." The three humans were thinking about Zeron and about the Zeron crystals. They didn't notice that Omega had changed. His voice had become harder and colder, and the door of the compartment in his side could not be seen. It had disappeared. Omega turned to the control panel and put his arms on the controls. The lights on the panel began to grow stronger. Omega was now part of the spaceship. He was a source of great power, and he was recharging the power banks. With the Zeron crystal inside him, Omega was the most powerful robot in the universe.
"I need some rest," said Varon to the other two. "I've not slept for many hours. We can do nothing until the power banks are fully charged."
"Okay," said Miranda. "I'll show you a cabin where you can sleep."
"First, I want your sonic key," interrupted Garth. "Then Miranda can take you to the cabin."
"Are you going to make me a prisoner again?" asked Varon.
"Of course," replied Garth. "I do not trust you."
"And I don't trust you," said Varon angrily. Garth again raised his laser gun and pointed it at Varon. Miranda looked at Varon, and then she looked at Garth. "Stop quarrelling," she said. "Give Garth the key, Varon. You'll have to trust us. You're the only person who can use the sonic key. We will need you when we get to Zeron." "Yes," agreed Varon. "I'm the only person who can open the compartments in the Zeron strongroom. I'm the only person who can get the crystals. You will need me."
"That's right," said Garth. "Now give me the key."
Varon slowly handed the key to Garth. Miranda walked out of the control room and along the corridor. Varon followed her. She stopped after a short distance and pressed a button at the side of the corridor. A door slid open, and Miranda went into a small cabin. Varon followed her. "You can sleep here," she said. "I'm going to lock you in, but don't worry. Garth won't harm you. Garth needs you when we get to Zeron." "You'll both need me when we get to Zeron," said Varon. "Remember that I'm the only person who can use the key." "I won't forget," said Miranda. "Now you can go to sleep." Miranda stepped out of the cabin, and the door closed immediately. Varon lay down on the bunk and closed his eyes. He was tired, and he soon fell asleep. Garth had followed them along the corridor. As soon as Miranda had closed the door, he stepped up to her.
"We have to talk together,"
he said quickly and quietly.
"Let's go to my cabin. We don't want Omega to hear what we have to say."
"Okay," agreed Miranda. "Let's go to your cabin. It's a long way from the control room. Omega will not hear us." They walked further along the corridor and went into Garth's cabin. The door closed behind them. Omega was alone in the control room. He switched on the visual display screen. He looked first in the cabin where Varon was lying asleep, then he looked in the cabin where Garth and Miranda were talking. "They do not know that I can hear them and see them," Omega said to himself. "My control switch has been turned off. My programming has been changed. Now I am free. I can hear everything. I can see everything. I can do everything. I am Omega." Omega looked at the visual display screen. Garth and Miranda were on the screen. Omega listened to what they were saying. But I will not harm these weak humans, thought Omega. They are thieves and they are greedy. They will destroy one another.